Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Sense of Belonging podcast with the Markkula Center for Applied Ethics. We are the 2023-2024 Campus Ethics Team Hackworth Fellows. And again, I'm Hydeia.
I'm Kendall.
And today we have a special guest with us, Keanu. Beautiful. So we're going to just be here asking Keanu some questions. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself, his college journey, now in his senior year, looking forward to grad school too. So all of that good stuff here. Here are all of Keanu's wise words. So thank you for joining us.
You guys, in the little conversation we had before,
So we literally had like numerous people recommend you.
But
Yeah.
you had you were one of the first names.
Yeah.
Yeah. To Keanu. That's like a nice little full, you know? So well, I guess to just start us off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Yeah, I
Introduce you
yeah,
again.
just start there.
Keanu, just like Keanu Reeves.
That's where we're at the show. We literally hit that same show early.
Yeah, I'm a senior studying business management. I served in the Marine Corps after high school, so before coming here. And then, yeah, graduating this spring. We're really looking forward to that. And then I'm going to grad school this fall with my MBA at Santa Clara. And then on the side, I help run a little construction company with my family. And I also climb rocks and I salsa dance from time to time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so I want to go back to like when you were in high school, because the 4 year process, and I know you didn't have like the traditional, you said you served in the Marine Corps. So I want to kind of take you back to like that senior year, going into like college and that making that like decision. What made you decide to go into the Marine Corps? What was like the college journey? How did you get to where you are?
First generation. So I didn't really have like a guidance per se in terms of education. I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. And for me, I felt that my options were limited because of that. So I felt that my options were just working in the trades or the service industry or the military. And I looked at the military because they not only like paid for my college education, but a lot of benefits that helped me become the person that I am today and to go see the world. I wanted to do something greater than myself, and I feel like the military was one of the best ways to do that. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity that I had. I'm glad that I had the opportunity that I had, and I came back like home in one piece, relatively speaking, And now like I'm just here to share my experiences with people like you guys, get my education, and just get into the workforce and continue on this journey of my life, So here we are, but yeah, I never saw myself in higher education like whatsoever. So me being on the cusp of graduation and then grad school like this coming fall is like wow, like this is happening, like whoa, what a journey.
Oh, for sure.
I served for 4 years. So yeah, 2015 to 2019. I didn't get the opportunity to get deployed anywhere, which I'm glad that I didn't. So my college journey actually started while I was in the military. So my girlfriend at the time, she encouraged me to just start doing night classes. So I enrolled in a community college on base, started knocking out my GEs. I'm like, whoa, like I'm actually kind of smart. Like I can do this. Like, I can do this. But it was these like self-limiting beliefs that I had, this imposter phenomenon that I had within myself that took me years to eliminate. And it wasn't until, like I say, maybe my first year that the first year that I finally finished at Santa Clara, that's like, okay, like I feel comfortable in who I am, in my ability to get my classes done, get good grades, and balance like working and everything else in my life. But it's been a challenge adjusting to the whole college experience because I didn't know if I would be accepted by others. Like a lot of my hesitance revolved around my military experience and my age. So for a while, I hid that from others, and I realized that by doing so, I was living a very disingenuous and inauthentic life, and people could feel that. And I feel like to a degree, I wasn't able to be my authentic self, and I wasn't able to befriend them as best I could or connect with them as much as I wanted to. And, you know, that's just something I had to learn the hard way, that when you live a disingenuous life, people can routinely feel that. And you feel, I felt bad inside because it's like, damn, you know, I could have had the opportunity to connect with this wonderful person sitting across from me. But because I was all up in my head, it just didn't work out. And that's just something I had to go through, which is now it's like, okay, this is who I am. If you don't like that, that's cool, bye. And that's it, you know, like I'm here who I am. And people will accept you more if you're just your authentic self.
Did you feel like the beginning of that when you kind of had that realization, like, oh, like I need to like let myself be free of this and like be who I am? Like, were people accepting of that? Like initially, did it surprise you, or did you feel like you still had this like old version of yourself that people were perceiving that you were being for a long time? So then when you came out like yourself, they were like, wait, is that really you?
Hit it up with them. In October, I got the opportunity to head to Washington, DC for a student veteran leadership conference. And they were just talking about the same things. It's just be your authentic self. If people don't accept you for who you are, like that's fine. Like there's going to be other people in your life. Like this is just a temporary state in your life, a temporary situation. And it will change, it will pass just like everything else. So I feel that when I went through that course and I took conscientious capitalism with Bill Maines, and I feel like that was like the nail in the coffin. Like that's what I needed for myself to be like, okay, Keanu, like you're good. You're good. Like I feel like my confident self again. And it took me a while to kind of like feel better to a degree. Like I was super excited to start college, and then we started college, and then now we're on the cusp of graduation, and then some other life stuff, and then now we're kind of like feeling like ourselves again. It's like I had to go through all these things just to self-develop, grow within myself, have these deep introspective thoughts, connect with friends, family, and just have these life experiences in order to figure out who Keanu really is, you know? And it sucked at times, but I feel like that's just part of the journey that we go through.
Absolutely. No, I actually really love that. And I like wanna like touch on too, like when you were able to like be your like authentic self, do you feel it what, because I imagine that's like really scary. Like if you were like living how like you were living before, and then you say you have like a group of like friends or people you met, and you're like, okay, this is a cool group, but it's not really like or necessarily fulfilling because you're like, I can't be my true self. Once you got to the point you're like, okay, this is who I am, like I feel like confident within myself. Do you feel like your friend groups and people you're friends with changed? Do you feel like a lot of people kind of like had to get like left in the dust, or like how were you able to like navigate like relationships?
I still want to experience colleges. College, that's how I met you. Got involved with Greek Life, some other academic programs on campus. And although like initially it was great, like I met a lot of people, there was still like a disconnect from time to time because of our maturity levels, our age differences and priorities. Like I help run a construction company with my family, and like that's taking up most of my time. So like even though like I'd love to be here on campus and just hanging out with friends and just hanging out, honestly, it's like no, like I gotta get this done. I gotta get paid. I gotta pay bills. It's like I'm at a different phase of my life that it was hard for me to be involved in student life, because when I would see how those consequences would impact me in my career, with my family, with my dad and my brother. So it's like, damn, I want to have fun, but I also got my responsibility. So it's like, what you got to do. And it's like, it's my life. I accept that. But there's still a part of me that wants to enjoy life, that is enjoying life to the best ability that I can. So where I found more recently is like doing stuff outside of school, like dancing, rock climbing, exercising, things that are gonna help me stay grounded on my day-to-day when I'm not feeling so great. You know? So college has definitely been an experience, but it's been, I like how you asked if my friends have changed over time, and yeah, they have. I feel like as we all grow, some people are gonna get left behind, unfortunately, not just because it happens, but because you grow or things change, things happen, right? So I feel like at this stage of my life, actually, for the most part of college, I felt alone to a degree, not lonely, but alone because of where I'm at in my life. And there just aren't a lot of people here at Santa Clara that can relate to those similar experiences. Coming into Santa Clara too, there's about 50 student veterans between graduate and undergraduate students. But there hasn't been a center for us to hang out and get together. When I got out of the Marine Corps and started community college at De Anza, the first place that I went to was a student veteran resource center. And like, we all just transitioned out of the military, like everyone there, like the homies were there. It's just like, yo, what's up? We just got out of the military. Like, we're on this academic journey. Like, yeah, let's do it. And then the pandemic hit and we just like lost all of that. So coming into Santa Clara, I was looking for that same sense of camaraderie that I had in the military, but here in an academic setting. So this past year and a half, I've been the president of the student veteran organization, where I wanted to show the university like, hey, these are your student veterans. Here's who we are. This is what we can do for not only you, but students, faculty, staff, and everyone that's involved in the Santa Clara community. And this is how we can make an impact for all of us. So I'm glad to say that we are going to have a space this coming fall. And it's like, yeah, just like we're gonna have space for us, and it's the start of something beautiful, so that way future generations of veterans don't feel the same way that I did throughout my undergraduate experience here, so that way they can feel better supported at the university, so they can better go into student life and just make a deeper impact for everyone at this university, at this school. It's been a long word.
Within college, like it goes by so fast, and sometimes when you're in the moment, you have like a bunch of like passion projects, but then like kind of once you graduate, it's like, oh, I hope someone else who was like kind of helping with those efforts continue it on. So like, thank God, you're still able to, you're gonna do your MBA here, so you can really still see the like, continuing them, but it's so amazing too that say if you didn't do your MBA here, to know that there's gonna be a space here, know that like your work, that's kind of like your legacy of like, you can help other people, like even if it's not like directly like, oh my gosh, I know every single person who's in that space, but like indirectly knowing that you did that work. So when students come in here and like more student veterans are like, oh my gosh, like I'm so happy that this is a space for us. Like that's so amazing.
I think that's such a beautiful thing to like, I don't know, I feel like a part of the reason we really to create this podcast was like a similar kind of like thought, like where we were like, we didn't, or at least for me, like I didn't really have for most of my college that like real sense of belonging. And by like creating something for other people, like something they can watch and be like, this is what people did to like feel this type of way. These are the things I could do for myself, like giving people like resources and an opportunity to like try to find that within themselves. It brings me almost to peace with the fact that I didn't have that. So I guess like my question in a way, like, does your like feeling like alone, I guess, throughout college, like being able to create this and like leave that, like, does that bring you like some sort of like peace with like what you went through because it allowed you to create something for other people in a way?
First, I was looking at San Jose State, in Santa Clara. I wanted to go to Berkeley. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Berkeley? No, they had an established veteran resource center. And I just toured the university. I'm like, wow, like, okay, this is cool. Like they have this, they have that. All right. San Jose State had the same thing, but I felt that I could do better in the sense of getting the best education I could, the best thing for my buck, if that makes sense. So in me coming to Santa Clara, I knew that I would be trading in a community for an education, and I'm glad that I got the education I got, the connections I made, the level of knowledge that I've been able to gain because of these courses and because of my professors. But I guess at the end of the day, I am glad that I had this experience and that there will be something for next veterans to come, because now they will be able to go off into the university and have a more of a college experience than
Both.
both. That's right. That's right. And do I wish I could have, like, do I wish my experience could have been like that? Like, yeah, of course, like who wouldn't? But I realized that through my own like leadership journey that I've been the one to just blaze the trail now. As first generation college student too, it's like I'm the first one of my family to go to college. I'm the oldest, I'm the big brother. So that responsibility falls on my shoulders, whether I like it or not. Like I can either say like, no, I don't want it, or I can be like, okay, like I'll take it and I'll own it, and then I will do something about it just to get it done. And I don't want people to feel bad with their college experiences. You know, this is college should be a great experience for everyone, for you guys, for everyone included. And when we don't have those experiences, it just makes it hard. Like if I didn't have the Lead Scholars program, if I weren't first gen, if I didn't get involved in student life, like I wouldn't really feel connected to Santa Clara. Like I just feel like, okay, like I'm just here for my classes. All right, I go to work, like that's it. But I didn't want my college experience to be like that. I didn't want my life to be like that. I wanted it to be fun to a degree. You know, I wanted to enjoy my life too and see what this is whole college shebang is all about, you know. I'm happy because of it. I got to experience wonderful things because of it. And now it's like, all right, I've had my fill. Let's move on. Let's go. Responsibilities, different place in life. It's like, okay, grad school, MBA, full-time work. Like, let's get it. That's the next step.
I wanted to mention because that reminded me
Courageous.
so very courageous. And like that just reminded me of something like you said earlier in terms of just like the level and things like people are on, and then like with your own college journey.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even personally, like college feels like so unreal to like the real world, because you're like you're 18 to like 22, right? And then it's like I'm an adult, but I'm not like the real like adult. Like I don't have to worry about anything. There's no business, there's no responsibilities. And then kind of like you're coming like in, it's like, yeah, when you're in college, you're kind of living that college like yeah, I'm having a great time, having fun, I'm having friends, I'm getting involved in clubs and all this. Then it's like also that piece of like, no, I'm actually like I have responsibilities. Like I'm over here helping like run the family business. Like so that's like so interesting like to think about too, of just like how you kind of like have that real world experience. Like it wasn't something like, and I think it like also showed, I think just knowing you personally too, like how much like this experience like meant to you, because it isn't just like something that's like, oh, I can just play around, just like, oh, whatever happens kind of thing. But it's like you have like real responsibility, like you have things to do at the end of the day. Like so I think that's just so amazing too, just like balancing all of that, because I feel like you are like involved in a multitude of things, but then it's like you also have like real things to do.
We should you asking like conversations on balancing things, and I've also juggling a whole bunch of things. Right? And like that's what I realized for myself when I was initially rushing for the business frat. One of the person I was interviewing, I was just like talking about like everything I was doing, and she's like, Keanu, like you're doing a lot. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, it took some time, and I'm glad I had the summers off to kind of like reflect on the previous year. And it's like, whoa, like I am taking on a lot. Like, am I taking time for myself? Am I taking time to really reflect on my own feelings and my emotions and how I feel and how I fit into my life? And when I first started college, like, no, I wasn't. I was really just kind of people pleasing to a degree. And I realized that came to a degree from the military, because it was always just like, all right, the mission is first, the objective is first. Like, don't worry about yourself. You can worry about yourself later. But it's like, no, you have to worry about yourself here, because at the end of the day, like you have to deal with you. You're the most important asset in your life. No one else is going to deal with you. But you. Yeah. you gotta do everything yourself, you know, it's just like, you gotta heal yourself, you gotta take care of you, like, as much as you wanna do everything and everything because it's fun, you're in college, like, college goes by quick.
Yeah.
Especially in the quarter system, it's just like, go, 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 go. I've been here for like, what, maybe 2 years?
Mhm.
Hasn't felt like 2 years, but the amount of growth, the amount of like, just knowledge that we gain in this short period of time.
It's wild.
It's like, whoa, I gotta buckle in my seatbelt. Right?
Oh,
It can be a lot, and I appreciate how you were talking about the 18 to 22 that we're in a sense in a bubble, and that at times like I feel that those bubbles need to be popped earlier than they should, not for, I mean, mainly for your own sake, really just see the world for what it is, that the realities of the world that we live in. Yes, college is great, but your time here at Santa Clara will come to an end. You will graduate and go off to do different things. And then you will see the reality of the world that you're in. And I'm not saying that you guys don't or that other people don't, but if you don't put in the work now of like grinding your butt off to a degree and enjoying yourself, yes, to get to where you need to be, then you're gonna suffer the consequences when you're older, and that's just the point of period that you're gonna be at.
That's true, because it's like even like little things like procrastination. Like for instance, like you procrastinate now, then you get to the real world, and then it's like, that's a deadline. Oh, I'm gonna get fired. Like it's like that's so real. Like it feels like so sheltered, but it's like the thing. Like this is not only like a learning experience, like academically, like socially, but also like personally and like career wise. The skills that you learn in college are so essential, and there's like you don't get that together like in that period. Like it's gonna be
not
all
making it through
One thing I was also thinking about, we had a guest on here a few weeks ago, and they had transferred from like a community college to here, but I'm interested because it was really interesting for you to say that when you, after coming from the military and then having that veteran center at De Anza, that kind of helped you like transition into that community college life. And so she was kind of mentioning how community college doesn't always help students like transition into like the like university space in a sense, because it's like you learn like academically, but especially when you're on like a commuter campus, it's kind of like you go to school, go home. And so I was kind of wondering like your perspective on like transitioning and like what, not necessarily saying like Santa Clara, but like colleges in general. Do you feel like what I guess like best prepared you for the transition into Santa Clara? Do you feel like the Veteran Center helped, and then that's why that kind of passion came to have that here? Do you feel like you were kind of like, did community college like help with like transitioning into college? I know that's like so loaded, like
Just like, I feel like I always go back to that student veteran center. Because we were all in that same place in our life, like everyone just kind of got out of the military, we're all just starting this higher education journey, and we're all decompressing from the military too. It's just like, how do we readjust to the civilian world? How do we explain our experiences to people that haven't served in the military? How do we make friends? How do we this? How do we that? And it's like, whoa, so that was like my foundation. That's why I always look for that center, like just a place where I could find my sense of community, a sense of belonging. So that that way, like I feel comfortable just going into different aspects of campus life. Like I can relate to that, my homie here, because we had the same military experience. It's not that I can't relate with you, but the bond is going to be deeper on this because of these experiences. And as my years have gone on, like I've been out 4 years now, and that's like in the past, and yes, I did it, and I've gained other different experiences, so I'm able to connect with a more wide variety of people regardless of our experiences, and just connect on a human to human level. But yeah, I really feel that at least like starting college, like I needed to have some sort of a grounding somewhere. Coming into Santa Clara, I transferred winter 22, so like still during the pandemic, everything's kind of still online. So I'm like super eager to just like make friends, because like I didn't really have friends here. It's like, okay, like I'm in college now. Now what? This is an experience for me. Like I need to have some sort of a grounding at Santa Clara. Otherwise, like I'm not gonna have a good time. It's definitely helped me out with that. But again, as I got older, like 27 now, most of the friends that I made, like my second quarter here, the first year that I was here, like they graduated, and they're not here. So it's like, okay, like I need to find people that are in similar areas of or like similar stages of life, you
Yeah.
know? So I can like just talk to them, and be like, hang out,
Yeah.
have a beer, just talk, like, hey, how's work? Sucks. Oh, same here, bro. Pay my taxes, oh, great. Just like things. But either way, I'm happy that I had the experience that I had and connecting with wonderful people like you guys.
Something came to my mind while you were talking, because I don't know, whenever we're like talking to people throughout this podcast, like I always am like, okay, like what are little like points we can kind of take away
Right,
from like each person, like that we can like give other people the help. And the thing that came to my mind was, if something doesn't exist, make it, create it yourself. So I just love the fact that you had something like at Dianza that gave you like that kind of sense like of belonging.
Yeah.
You came here courageously and without knowing whether you were gonna really find that here, and like prioritizing like basically yourself in your
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
But then also saw that like, wait, like I know other people could use this,
Yeah.
and like if I had started here or something, I could have used this. And you were like, let me just make it myself.
Yeah.
So other people could have that same like welcoming, like warm hug experience, like coming into it. And I love that. I think that's like the best like possible way to, I don't know, like leave your like identity,
Yeah.
behind, in a way. Like I love that.
Leadership style revolves around this notion of servant leadership. And it basically revolves around like you're doing things for the benefit of others. A lot of times what I see what leaders do is like they do things for themselves. Like, you know, yeah, my team did that, but I'm gonna take the rewards, I'm gonna take all the profits, whatever, like for me, because it was my idea, blah, blah, blah. But you have to pay homage to people that helped you to get to that goal. I realize that leadership is a double-edged sword, that if I go too much into servant leadership mode, then I burn myself out, because I have to take care of myself enough to be the leader that my friends need, my family needs, my community needs, like whoever needs you, you need to be who you need to be 100% in order to give your full yourself, you know, be present. And the whole definition of the word, just be present there.
Yeah.
Give yourself entirely, but make sure that you take care of yourself. Touching back on earlier, like you're your most important asset. You're the most important asset. And you got to take care of you. So that means like diet, exercise, spiritual health, mental health, like everything, a holistic health. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to operate at the level that you know you're capable at operating at, and people can feel that. And what you go into isn't, I feel like, will be subpar. You know? So take care of you.
That really just brings to like what you're saying, like Kendall, like if something doesn't exist, like create it, because it's like if something is not in place for you to be your full self, then how can you like be your full self? Like if you need to take care of like all the aspects of like wellness to you, but then there's like a lack of like those spaces for you to do that, like don't be afraid to like create it, because I'm sure like students, veterans after you will be so thankful to have that space where they can, you know, have that kind of like mental health, that have like people that feeling like their social health and like finding people with that sense of belonging. So it's like right there, it's like you helped create that, and it was like kind of made out of a space of like not having that sense of belonging, like having that space, right? But you like ensure like whoever comes after you has just even a little ounce of like sense of belonging if they don't find it anywhere else, which I think is like so beautiful. Like, and then it's like, I bet that's also helpful and rewarding for like for you too, even though that's like definitely not even the benefit of like, oh, it's like I'm doing this because I want, like, yeah, it's like, would be nice if it was here for me. It's like,
Mhm.
now it's like, hey, I'm able to serve other people when they come. Like, yeah, it would have been great a couple years ago, but like, at least like now, it's like in place, but like now, no one could, yeah, I wish we had that. Well, yeah, we do. Yeah.
Like, it's like, have you guys ever heard of, Abraham Maslow's like hierarchy? I kind of see it like now, right? I see philosophy. So it's like, there's a level of it that has community on it. But once that is taken care of, you go higher on the pyramid and you can start looking at other things and you feel better supported, and then you can get to the level of self-actualization, right? Right? And it's where I feel like your most authentic self, your most pure self to a degree, your most confident self, because all of those tiers are now taken care of, so you can focus on living your best life.
And now that you're going into like grad school and then reflecting on like your past time, like at Santa Clara, I'm wondering like what makes you feel whole / like what makes you feel like you belong?
What makes me feel that I belong? So I had to write a award letter. That was like one of the questions, and it's like, how has your leadership style impacted the SCU community? And I flipped it. It's more like, how has the SCU community impacted me? And it's like, even though like we didn't share that same military experience, we were still able to connect. I was still able to connect with you. And I feel like it's just because of those connections that I had with people out on this campus these past 2 years, that regardless of our experiences, I was still able to form a bond with them. And they impacted me in ways that like I was just like, wow, like I didn't know if I could trust people here at Santa Clara because I had a difficulty trusting after the military. If you weren't military, I'm like, I don't know if I can trust you. But I realized, that's work I gotta do in myself. Like, yes, I can trust people. Like, you gotta do that work on you, dude. And just being my authentic self, I was able to connect with other people, and then they saw my authenticity, and they were able to become who they needed to be around me. And that in turn was just like this flow of compassion for each other and support for each other. And the friendships that I've been able to make these past 2 years have been just like, it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. I'm glad that I had the experience that I had, and I'm happy the way things turned out.
Me too.
Beautifully said.
Beautifully said.
Like that literally warmed my heart. One of the most wholesome.
Yeah. You came into the room and you like immediately lit up the room
Yeah.
with giggles, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna sit down and I'm just like, oh. Heart warms. I love this. I'm so happy that like this podcast like has been able to bring like almost to me like and like this like final like sense of belonging to myself
Yeah.
at the end of this college experience, like and meeting the people, like all of these amazing people who just like I'm like, oh, this I'm getting to talk about like the thing I care about the most. Like I'm being able to reflect on myself and like learn through other people's experiences, like take away like so much valuable, amazing like advice, even if it's like implicit. Like I can like now leave like this place like feeling like I like have that, like even though I'm leaving it. It's within myself.
Right. Question for you. In doing this podcast, how do you two feel that you have changed and grown in interviewing people like sitting in this chair?
I think it's uprooted a lot of what I thought I was meant to do.
Okay.
Honestly, I think I've realized, like, I've always my whole life knew that like I wanted to do something like bigger and
Yeah.
like feel like I made an impact. And I also knew I couldn't like put pressure on myself to do that. It had to like kind of happen naturally. And I think through doing this, I've like learned, even though it's only been honestly not that long,
Yeah.
I've just learned like how important that this is to people and how it's not something that like is talked about enough just in passing,
Yeah.
like people's deeper
Yeah.
like emotional experiences and like what really has like made them feel like they belong in their whole. And I think it's something, I mean, it's gonna take a while for me to figure out like what I would want to do with it, but I think it's honestly shifted completely what I want to do with my life to some extent.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is yet,
Yeah.
but I really honestly think this podcast and just like thinking about this and talking to people on a deeper level has like just, yeah, it just made me realize that there's something, there's more to it. Like there's so much more to dig through,
Yeah.
like, and learn, like, and so many more people's stories, like everyone like has a
Yeah.
completely different journey and not all of them are beautiful and perfect, like, you know,
Everyone's got stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like just with that last line too, I think for me, like a lot of times I definitely have like rose-colored glasses on, like with the college experience, very much just like getting involved in everything. I'm like, oh my God, I love it here, like it's such a great time. And so I feel like with that, I don't think it was like really like this year, and I think getting involved with the ethics center, it's like, okay, yeah, like I'm having a great time, but it's everyone else, like, and then seeing so much, I think of like student activism on campus and seeing like students really like stand up for things that they believe in. I think that even started like my first year when students were fighting for more like mental health resources and just things of that sort. So I feel like I was like, hey, okay, not like I can be all raw in my like red and white, but I'm like, what is everyone else feeling on campus? And I think I really enjoy like talking to people too. So I think even with talking with like friends or even people like I meet in class, I'm like, whoa, things aren't always like as like beautiful as they seem, which is like obviously. But I think like with that, I was like, I want to hear from people of like who don't always get heard from. Because I think a lot of times just like, you know, you're gonna associate, you know, yourself with people like common interests, things like you classes, so it's gonna be like majors, clubs, all that kind of thing, right? But I think like with that, I was like, who are the people like I may never have like interacted with? Like who are the people like of course if I'm getting involved in X, Y, and Z, everyone I'm befriending is involved in X, Y, and Z. So it's like, okay, what are people are not doing anything at all? You know, a lot of times I think too, like I'm a student ambassador. So, you know, we're like, oh, the Santa, like the typical Santa Clara student is always like, they're not only involved in academics, they're also like involved in X, Y, and Z.
Right.
But it's like there are students who go to school and just go home and then never were like, oh, it was like an okay experience. Like I just went to school. So I kind of wanted to hear from people to like say, hey, like take off those rose-colored glasses. Like things aren't always as it seems, like within my own little bubble. So I think kind of what we were talking about is like I want to pop my own bubble.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like, I want to hear from people who may not felt like they belonged, and then what can like we do, especially like as like a student body, to like make sure all people feel like they belong. Like it's not just the ones who are involved, the ones who take advantage of all the resources, but how can we bring resources to students? How can we make things more accessible? How can we be a more genuine student body? And like, yeah, like Santa Clara common word is like community, like, oh, everyone's so nice. Everyone like, yeah, that might be true, but are we like genuine with like our kindness? Are we really like genuinely going out wanting to build connections, or are we feeling safe within our bubble and not wanting anything to change? So
I also think I think one of the other people we talked to, she was like, I think this podcast is important too, because we're letting people understand that it's okay if they don't feel like they belong. That there's not this like crazy pressure to just figure it all out, find your people. Like, you don't need college to be the experience where you feel like everything is perfect. And I think like that was something I didn't think about before starting this podcast. I was like, everyone like I think everyone obviously deserves to feel that way, but it's okay if you don't. And like that doesn't make your college experience any less like fruitful or
Yeah.
like important or like it helps you grow.
Yeah, there's still so much value like within that, like if you didn't, like. Having like a college experience is just as much as not having
Yeah.
the traditional college
Yeah.
experience, like that's an experience in and of
Mhm.
itself.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Mhm.
Aww. Aww.
Oh, I
Thank you
appreciate
so much for
Keanu.
coming.
Thank you so much for coming on.
That was so great.
Good
guys.
I'm
Makes me
always-
sad that we're not gonna, it's okay.
No.
I'm getting sad.
Y'all, thank you so much for watching and listening in. We appreciate y'all so much. Thank you again, Keanu, for coming on. And we will see you next time. Bye.